or not going to. First of all, I have to open my show by sending people to the naughty corner already. Okay? Because 3G, what you're not going to do is call me out on being late on my own channel. Okay? Listen, I know I'm late. I don't need the reminder. It's like 3G is like what is it, like my 9 o'clock reminder that I'm a failure. Hi Amira, this is your 9 o'clock reminder that you're still a failure. Dio, not Dio, I'm yelling at Dio too. 3G, I don't need that. I really don't. I'm trying to go to the naughty corner. Like how I come here expecting love from the pride. I come here and I'm like, oh, at least somebody is going to love me here. At least I will feel loved by the pride. I get over here and then what? Here's the pride. You're late. You're still a failure. We're sitting here waiting for you. Yeah, typical of your people. You people. See, I can't with you guys. One love. I don't know what this is. Don't ask me. Listen, I'm gangster in my own ways, okay? I don't follow all the gangster trends. I'm gangster in my way. Hi, Fix. Hey, yo. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So, Naughty Corner is there with Teddy. This is my Balenciaga moment. Stop looking around my room. Oh. Get over there. What Teddy? What are you talking about? I didn't see any Teddies. Hi, Neil. How are you? Hi, cousin. Hi, cousin. Oh, yeah, you guys still have a beef, right? Not a beef. You guys still have an argument. So it's Dio, Call Me Zombie, Art of Will, and a few other people that were having an argument our last live stream. I will let you guys continue your argument, but just give me a second to get through the news, and then I'll open the panel, and you guys can have at it again, because I'm sorry that I had to turn off your guys' argument at the time that I did, but I was super interested in it, so I will let you guys get back to it. If you guys can just pick up on where you guys left off. Definitely. Hello, Anthony. Hello, American Patriot. Hi, bad brother. Go to the naughty corner. Naughty corner now. Right now. Where is... Here he is. Overruled. Oh, wait. Overruled? You're not objecting. You need to be objecting, Graham. He said it's 9 p.m. where you are. Yeah, kind of. Strong, independent boss chick energy. You guys know I'm a strong, independent woman. I better not say that too loud. My husband's gonna slap me. I'm like, I'm a strong, independent. Sorry. I mean, independently learning all of my recipes in the kitchen like a good wife would. Amira Adams, go to the naughty corner. All right. You know what? I'm not even gonna read your guys' text anymore. Why am I reading this? It's all abuse. I didn't come here to be abused, okay? I came here so that we can speak about life and politics and love and all the witches and hoes in the world. Hello, Todd. I was gonna say Todd. Troy. Hello, Troy. Okay. This is all the lefties gonna be like, see, we knew she was abused. It's only abuse if you're not agreeing with it, if you don't agree with it, I guess. But anyway, all right, so here we go. Thank you, Graham. Thank you. There's your normal self. Yes, it is lawful law. I have given you the statute previously, Graham. I've given you the statute previously. I don't think that I need to prove my authority to you. I am like the referee. I am like the judge in this case. I am not taking sides. I call it as I see it. Good? Thank you, Graham. Thank you, Graham. Graham just keeps my dream going. That's my dream. Hi, Netter. Says, hi, sweetie. Don't call me sweet. I am not sweet. But how are you doing? I hope you're having a good day too. But don't call me sweet. I'm biased. I'm sorry, what, sir? Biased? You mean bias? All right, guys. All right, let's enough of this. Enough of this. Let's start. All right. So, Joe Biden, if you guys didn't know, Joe Biden has said that he is going to begin to defend America. He said he's finally stepping up to the plate as a president. He's actually woken up from his stupor. He's popped a few pills, did a few lines off of some stripper booties, as Keela says. He's done a few lines. He is lively and awake now. So since he's awake, he said that he's going to begin to defend the continental United States against the invasion that's been happening. Did he say that? Something like that, something to that effect. He said what he's going to do is protect the continental United States. And I was so happy to hear that, guys. I was like, finally, we're going to get some aid sent to the border. We're going to get boots on the ground. We're just going to start knocking heads. Hadrian might come back. I mean, you never know. Things can come back again and be great like they always were. But no, there's no Hadrian. There's no boots on the ground. Biden said he's protecting the continental United States against Texas. Texas is the enemy of the American people. And we're all wrong. We are not being protected against the invasion that's currently happening on our southern border. No. The actual problem is Texas. See, I think we were looking in the wrong spot, guys. You guys too, right? I think we both were looking in the wrong spot. I think Biden knows where the true enemies of America are, and they're in Texas. Texas should just succeed. Texas should be its own country at this point. I believe Texas is America. Texas is America. If you took Texas out of the United States is no longer United States. It is. And I believe that's the reason why he wants to go after Texas, because Texas is the United States. He knows that. That's why he's so hell-bent on attacking Texas. So let's read this article. I'm going to pull it up now. Hold on. Oh my God, my eyes. Ooh. Hold on. All right, that's dark. Cool. Pulling it up. All right, here we go. In the news, Judge Joe Brown retweeted a post that revealed what sounds like Joe Biden threatening Texas for defending its border. The voice in the video can be heard saying, and I quote, "We're going to make sure those cowboys don't stop the surge of military-age men from entering. If we have to send F-15s to Texas, if we have to send the F-15s to Texas and wage war against Texas, then so be it," end quote. Some news outlets have already dismissed this as fake, but considering the subject in this article, it's more likely than not that Biden did issue that threat. This would not be the first time that Biden was caught on hot mic, however, having called a Fox News reporter a stupid SOB back in 2002. We all know that Joe Biden often says off-cuff things, and it's always dismissed as, oh, he's just senile, oh, he's just funny old grandpa. In addition, Biden's suspected mental health issues certainly support the assertion that he did indeed threaten the Lone Star State. And now Democrats want Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard. Meanwhile, 2 Democrats have come up with another way to subdue those pesky cowboys. San Antonio Democrat Joaquin Castro and Eagle Pass Democrat Representative Eddie Morales urged Joe Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard and grant asylum to illegal aliens breaching the border. We were going good until we got to that part. All right. Well, all right. Eddie Morales, a Democrat people, they are urging Joe Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard and grant asylum to illegal aliens breaching the border. According to Castro, the Texas National Guard is being used to, quote unquote, interfere with the duties of the federal government when it comes to immigration. Immigration. They call this immigration? Immigration. Oh, all right. All right. So it says the Texas National Guard is being used as a weapon to interfere with the duties of the federal government when it comes to immigration. Castro went on to accuse Abbott of making the situation worse and called his security efforts a quote unquote rogue hindrance to the federal processing of illegals. Man, you guys are lucky I don't drink. You guys are lucky I do not drink, because if I were a person that drank alcohol, I believe that certain stories in the news, certain news articles would get me there. You know what I mean? I think they would get me to that point where, let's continue. Biden, shortly after all of this, he admitted that the southern border isn't secure. In the midst of his threats against Texas, Biden finally admitted that massive changes are needed with immigration policy, and he is prepared to act on securing the border. What is his plan? He's proposing that he's going to offer a compromise on border security in return for $106 billion in supplemental spending. That includes military aid for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. These are our winning countries. Let's give a round of applause for our winning nations. Come on, Israel. Come on, Ukraine. Come on, Taiwan. You guys are the winners of today's prize. That's $106 billion of the American tax dollar. Wonderful. Wow, these are extremely well-deserved prizes, especially for countries like Ukraine. I mean, they have been very, very good, high moral countries. I mean, especially Ukraine. Ukraine is known for their high morals and anti-corruption. I mean, yeah, just because they're in war right now, I get it. Now we see Ukraine as this poor little victim. But right before all of this, Ukraine was known to be one of the most corrupt nations in this whole world. Anyway, he's offering to compromise on border security in return for $106 billion in supplemental spending that includes military aid to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan, whose independence from China, Joe Biden declared, is not supported by the United States of America. The United States does not support Taiwan's independence from China. You know why? I don't curse, okay? But I want you guys to use your imagination with me, shall we? There's a term for female dogs, right? That term is what I see when I think of America right now being headed by Joe Biden. We look like female dogs on the world stage. Female dogs that sit and lie down for China. of all nations, at least we can get a nation that doesn't. China? I'm sorry, Art of Will. Sorry, Art of Will. I know that's your people, but still, no, no. China is just no. But anyway, here's the last part of this story. Here we go. The last stop on the Biden train is concerning our online privacy, our security as a nation, and it's rather distressing. But here we go. After the so-called insurrection, the Biden administration expanded their surveillance of Americans. According to the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, well, say that 5 times fast, suspicious behavior and extremism now include transportation charges like bus tickets, plane tickets, rental cars, and anything that you use to travel to areas that they deem have no purpose. Do you guys understand what I just said? I said the Biden administration is saying that their efforts to surveil Americans now include suspicious behavior, and under the list of suspicious behavior and extremism, buying tickets or any form of travel to places that you so-called don't belong or have no business at are now deemed offenses that can get you surveilled if you buy a ticket to a place that you understand with this, right? You know what other country has that kind of system? North Korea. You can't leave your birth city without permission from the state to leave. And if you do try to go somewhere, you will be surveilled. You're being surveilled because the dear leader has to have tabs on everyone, because you understand why. There's a reason why they call Joe Biden dear leader. All right, back to the article. So, suspicious behavior and extremism now include transportation charges like bus tickets, plane tickets, rental cars, or any way that you travel into areas that they deem have no purpose or you don't belong there. In addition, the purchase of religious texts like Bibles, and I'm pretty sure they mean specifically Bibles, because these people don't attack Islam. They don't attack Judaism. How do you say the word? Judaism, whatever. They don't attack those religions. They only attack Christians. So let's be real. When we say religious texts, let's just be real. They mean Bibles. So anyway, in addition, the purchase of Bibles is also deemed suspicious. Also, anyone who has bought ammo after the 2021 incident is considered by the Biden administration to be a possible active shooter. You haven't seen nothing yet. I mean, in Minecraft, ammo is rather cheap in certain places, and you can get it on the streets if you don't want your name to be on a registry somewhere. But I'm just that's in Minecraft. That's in Minecraft, and this is the reason why you shouldn't register. But even if you do register, you could lose all of your things in boating accidents, hiking incidents. I don't know, parasailing accidents. You could have gone skydiving and then they just fell out of your pocket. That happens all the time. So that's what I recommend if you don't want to register and be on a registry somewhere and you don't want any proof of what you've been doing. But anyway, back to this. Here it is. Anyone who has bought ammo after 2021 is considered by the Biden administration to be a possible active shooter. The Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network has also encouraged banks to designate those types of transactions with the code names Trump or MAGA on their behalf. Now, I think that is not true. I think that's not true, but who am I to say that? But who knows who the source is? I think that last part is not true, simply because And that's too obvious. It's too blatant. Nobody would name things Trump or MAGA like that, I believe. But I'm sure what they meant to say is that they have code names for the Trump and MAGA people. But I'm sure that the code name would not be MAGA, because that's way too obvious. And yeah, it wouldn't be a code name if it's MAGA. So hold on, guys. 1 second, please. Right. I'm here. So what do you guys say? Dio says, yeah, banks are failing left and right. Good reason to get your money out even without this. I told you guys a while back, keep your money out of banks. And this is the reason our families do it. Many families do it. Families that know better do it. And I recommend you guys do it too. Gold. If you can afford to transfer your paper money that really is not anything, but if you can afford to transfer that paper money into a metal, switch it into a metal. Just do it. Just do it. See how it goes. This is just what I recommend. Don't even trust the vaults. You know how you have vaults at the bank and they say, oh, we'll keep your stuff safe in the vault and all of that. Don't even trust that. And I have my reasons for it. Other people know. So a few of you guys in the chat know why I say that. But yeah, no. I'm looking at your guys's 3G fishing rods. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for coughing. I don't know what's wrong with my throat recently, but it is just bad. Exactly, Thomas. It's time to mask your Bible as a Quran. There you go. That's the way, because they won't come after the Quran. That's completely no. And the funny thing is, the left, right? They're all about promoting everything sick, right? The LGBTQIA rainbows plus pedos plus everything sick. They're all about that. But then they'll turn around and support Islam. When Christians, unfortunately, I'm sorry for the Christians, but unfortunately, Christians are more accepting of the LGBTQIA plus rainbows plus everything sick than Muslims. That's why you have a bunch of confused leftists in the United States, a bunch of hays out there going outside talking about how they support Palestine. Palestine. You support Palestine. Okay. Go to Palestine. Go to Palestine with your, hey, hi guys. I'm not one of them. I support you. I'm here for you guys. They'll invite you to a roof party. We have plenty of roof parties, especially in the month of June. Roof parties are the thing. In June, the weather is perfect for them. Have fun. I don't get it because it doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, sure. Hi, Sword of Light. Art of Will is a commie? No. No, I do not. No, I do not. I did not say that. No. I have a lot more class than that, okay? There's plenty of other words if I want it to be insulting to use than that one. I have a better imagination than that. No, that is a very low-class word. Well, yeah, exactly, Jason. That's why I said good luck with that. Go to Palestine. Go, all of you leftists. Go support the Palestinians and see how much they support you. R says, please make more political videos. I used to watch them. Give me this year. This year, politics are going to rev back up again, and I will start making more actual videos. I will. I promise I will. But I just haven't been motivated to, because you guys see what's going on in the media. Back in 2016, 2017, 2018, it was so easy to make political content because we had Trump. Trump was exposing things left and right. Trump always had something to say. the leftists were raging all Trump's presidency. So it was so easy to make content. Now it's like I have to sit through hours and hours of Biden just to get a 5-minute video set up. You have no idea the sacrifice. I just don't want to deal with Biden. I just don't want to see him. I'm just waiting for his time to pass, honestly. And I'm just hoping that he doesn't do too much damage while he's there. Hi, Nas. Hi, Nas. Says, hey, Amira. Hi. One sec. I think I need to figure out what I'm going to do about this throat issue because I've never had this problem before, but I don't know what's going on. Do you guys have any idea of what it could be? Gold is good, lead is better. In Spanish, the saying, so there's a Spanish saying, right? Now I'm going to share this with you guys because why not? There's a Spanish mafia saying, or it's not Spanish mafia, cartel. The cartels, the Spanish cartels, they have a saying, right? Now, if you have the unfortunate misfortune, you could say, of coming face to face with a cartel member in Colombia, anywhere in Central South America, Mexico, a lot of times what will happen is you might get a gun pointed to you or you might get a knife put somewhere. And the first words that they will say to you are this: plata o plomo. That's all it is, plata o plomo. You can say that to anybody who speaks Spanish and they know exactly what you mean. And most likely they'll get scared. Most likely they'll run away from you. But plata o plomo, it means silver or lead. And when they say silver, they don't exactly mean silver as in the metal. They mean money. So now let's translate it properly. Somebody comes to you, puts a gun to your head or a knife to your neck, and they say plata o plomo. Plata o plomo means give me money or I give you lead. Give me money or I give you lead. So, plata o plomo. It just made me think about it when you said gold is good, lead is better. Plata o plomo. Oh, I know, Nas. Even the popes are on pedo. I know. You guys saw the Epstein list. I'm not going to go through it, but did you guys know that Tom Hanks was on the list? Beyonce and Jay-Z. Now, I know a lot of people say just because their names are on the list doesn't mean that they were engaging in anything nasty. Really? Are you sure about that? Because where was that saying where they said, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are? If your friend is Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, even if you don't agree with Jeffrey Epstein's politics or you guys don't, if you're at this man's house, knowing what goes on in his house, how could you miss it? It's everywhere. With Jeffrey Epstein, it's everywhere. It's all around his house. It's on the boat. It's coming in. It's flying in from the inner cities. How can you not be a part of it and be with Jeffrey Epstein? I don't know. But then I think it was like Denzel Washington who said, go to the Hollywood parties, but leave before the devil comes. That's what Denzel Washington said. He said, go enjoy Hollywood parties, but always leave before the devil enters. So maybe it is true. Maybe Beyonce and Jay-Z and Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise and all of them, maybe they were all there, but they left before the devil came. Who knows? But to me, I'm like, this is a list that I wouldn't think that you would be on the list if you did not partake. I don't know. I wouldn't think that you would be on his list if you did not partake. I'm just saying. And we all know these people do rituals. You guys know the rituals and sacrificing your family members. And come on, you guys saw what Kanye West did. Okay, well, anyway, we're getting off topic. Hi, Bureau. Hold on, I think Larry said something. Oh. Hi, Carrie. How are you, Carrie? He said, yeah, accomplices at the least. They let him get at kids. They're in on it. Even if you didn't let him do it, that means you saw it happening. You knew it was happening. You knew. There's no way you didn't know. So you telling me these people on Jeffrey Epstein's list, they went to his home, just hung out, came for dinner, and said, oh, thank you so much for the dinner. It was wonderful. The catering was amazing. The wine was the best selection that I've ever had. And I've seen that you have a bunch of, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls and boys coming in here naked. So I think this is the part of the dessert that's happening. I think I'm really full. I am up to here in food and I don't need a dessert. Thank you guys so much for inviting us over. We'll see ourselves out as we step over 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And then you just leave? And then, okay, so Beyonce, Jay-Z, and all of them, I'm sorry. I've never liked her. I've never liked Beyonce. I've never been the person who's been like, oh my God, Beyonce. There's people who cry just seeing Beyonce. They're crying, going crazy, and just shaking and spazzing out just to see Beyonce. Ugh. Yes. Stephen Hawking was on the list. Now. Wait. Stephen Hawking. Okay. All right. Stephen Hawking. I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say it. Sorry, Samuel. Samuel, you can yell at me later. But Stephen Hawking didn't have much pleasure in his life, you can imagine. I'm sure that very little things brought him pleasure because of his condition. So Stephen Hawking, now that might be a name that I can understand. Listen, don't throw daggers at me. Listen, that could be one person that I can understand being there and wanting to see some weird stuff. Do I think it should be children? No. But he did admit that he liked to see midgets. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you guys heard it too, right?
That was a meme, right?
No,
that wasn't accurate.
No.
The whole thing about the midgets.
What was it? It was midgets
being
being ridiculed.
The thing said that he liked watching undressed midgets solve complex equations on 2 high chalkboards, which is a joke. That's not real.
Tell me why, though. It sounds like something that would be true. It sounds like something that he would like. Now, you have to admit, out of all people that showed up on this list, Stephen Hawking has to be the only person on that list that can get away with getting some weird fantasy. Does it have to be a 14-year-old? No, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a 12-year-old. It doesn't have to be a 7-year-old. I'm just saying, but what is the wish? What is it called? The Grant a Wish Foundation or whatever it is. That was Stephen Hawking's Grant a Wish Foundation. Jeffrey Epstein is Stephen Hawking's Grant a Wish Foundation. I can't believe I'm saying I am mad. Okay. I'm sorry. We need to change the subject. Noba, this is your fault. Noba, go to the naughty corner. This is all your fault, naughty corner. Because it's not my fault. You guys aren't going to blame me for what just happened. Oh, thank you. Make a wish. You're not going to blame me for what just happened. That was Noba's fault. Okay? Noba, go to the naughty corner. You're punished. No. Listen. Okay, Make a Wish. There you go. There has to be an adult Make a Wish Foundation somewhere. And I think Jeffrey Epstein was the adult Make a Wish, but I reiterate, it shouldn't be children. It just shouldn't be children. So, yeah. Somebody's going to take this completely wrong. I can already tell. Somebody's going to take this wrong and say, Amira's over there promoting pedophilia. No, I'm not. Stop. Oh my gosh, stop. Okay. Enough. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to more news, okay? Let's just go back to the news so I can go somewhere safe. I need my safe space right now. AOC. Let's talk about AOC. AOC, she says, and I quote, I know it's kind of a contrarian position. She said that, I know it's kind of a contrarian position. And she said this before demanding a congressional pay bump. So she wants to get more money. Congress members currently make $174,000 per year, which is way too much because they don't do anything. But anyway, they make $174,000 per year, but haven't received a raise since 2009. This does not sit well with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whatever her name is. This does not sit well with her. She reportedly has been advocating for a pay bump for quite a while. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez reasoned that a pay raise is needed for anti-corruption reasons. Oh my God, anti-corruption reasons. So you're just going to outright say the quiet part out loud. So you're saying, okay, if you don't want me to be corrupt, you need to pay me more. Ooh. And when the rest of the world says something like that, then we're punished, right? We're punished. Everybody else is punished for saying something like that. But these people, okay. She said a pay raise is needed for anti-corruption reasons and will open up grand opportunities to run for office for a broader range of Americans. If I get more money, I can run for office for more Americans. All right? The current salary earned by members of Congress is currently more than 80% of Americans. Yet, some experts argue that these politicians are underpaid and that they are being slaved. They are slaves to the system because they are underpaid and overworked. If they received raises on par with inflation, Congress members will be making $250,000. Despite her argument, many Americans, including progressives, are against this raise, this pay raise. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Tell that to a roughneck. What? Anya says, hi, Anya. What are you doing here, Anya? Anya, it's been a long time I haven't seen you. She says she should go back to giving handies behind the ball. Anya, you got over here and now you got to go to the naughty corner. Naughty corner. I haven't seen Anya in forever. And then, hi, Anya. Naughty corner, Anya. Wow. Exactly. Overworked. They're overworked and underpaid. Can you guys believe it? Our congressional members, they are slaving away for us, doing American duty, and they're underpaid. So this is the reason why they have to reach out to corrupt needs. This is why they have to work with the cartels and, drug dealers and everybody else, because they are underpaid. Their lifestyles are the lifestyles of the rich and famous. And if they aren't able to afford the lifestyles of the rich and famous, then they'll have to be corrupt. And so in order for them to not be corrupt, we should just pay them more money. Doesn't that sound like a threat to you guys? Kind of like, pay me more money or else? Can I divert your attention really quickly, everybody? I want to divert your attention to January the 20th of 2024, which is today. Today, I had a revelation in the morning, and I want to share it with you. You guys might disagree with me or agree with me on this revelation, but here we go. Tipping culture. So since we're speaking about salaries and we're speaking about AOC saying that she needs more money because my work and my calloused hands, I think I want to talk to you guys about this. Just recently, this morning, I was watching a video. There was a DoorDash driver. She pulled up to the home where she was to leave the food because, of course, that's what DoorDash does. She pulled up to the home. She looked at her phone and she said, oh, The total here says 0. Is that your fault? And the lady, there was like a young girl, like a teenager. She said, yes, that's my food, please. And she said, yeah, but it says 0. And she said, well, yeah, it says 0 because I paid for my food. Can you please hand me my food? The DoorDash lady said, so there's no tip here? You didn't give me a tip? And the teenager said, no, I didn't tip. She's like, can you please hand me my food? Before the girl could get out, can you please hand me my food? The DoorDash driver turned around, slammed the food to the floor, to the ground outside, because they were in the outside, and went back to her car and drove off like nothing happened. Now, a lot of you, I don't know what a lot of you are thinking, but if anybody is like me, you're going to think something like this. Tipping culture in the Western world is out of control. I believe tipping culture should not exist. It shouldn't exist because the entitlement that comes with this idea that the customer now has to pay you extra money for doing your job is it's creating a sour system. It's souring the pot here. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's making getting services sour, and it's making it a stressful process. Instead of you paying for your goods, paying for what you ordered, paying for the delivery fee and getting your goods, now you pay for your delivery fee, you pay for your goods, which is already overpriced, and then now you also have to pay the wages for this driver because either the company doesn't want to pay them wages or who knows what the idea is, right? I believe tipping culture is out of control. We go get massages. Me and my husband go often to get massages from the, you guys know what it is. Just, you know what it is, okay? The honey, I help you, honey, long time. I make you, man, I do massage for you. We go there. So we go there. They don't speak much English. We already know. And they already overcharge for getting massages. At the end of our massage, we might want to give them a tip. Truthfully, you're already charging us way too much. We really don't want to give you a tip at all, but we still do because, we're gracious for your service. We give them $5, $10. That's not enough. They're like, oh no, honey, I need a $20 at least, $20, $40. Excuse you, $40 for what? $40 tip? That is how they see it. They have taken the tipping culture of America and turned it into this whatever. On a lower scale, we go to restaurants. Restaurants, my idea, because I come from different country, you guys, anybody who's not from America, you guys understand what I'm saying. When you come from a different country, we don't tip in other countries. We don't do that because it's offensive. It's offensive to throw a couple dollars extra at someone. They are working. They get offended. They'll throw the money back at you and say, I don't need your extra $2. What do you think? I'm poor? I'm not asking for your pity. I work for a living. Take your extra $2 with you. Because they get very offended if you do that. It's very patronizing to say like, oh, you poor thing. I feel so bad for you doing this job. Here, let me give you $2 extra for the soda. Come on. We don't do that. But in America, it is seen as something that must happen. You must give a person extra monies of your hard-earned money. You have to give them extra just for doing their job. Tipping used to be, I give you extra money because you went above and beyond. You did something above and beyond your service. Instead of just giving me the basic services, you provided me with more. So I'm going to tip you for doing so. Now we have mediocre workers, average workers, just doing an average job. Very mediocre. That's fine. But they're expecting you to treat them as if they should be rewarded for doing their job. That's why I'm upset with this whole tipping culture. And I think AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I think this is part of the tipping culture from her bartending days coming into the congressional sphere, whatever. But anyway, I believe that's what's happening here. She's so used to being tipped at the bar that she's like, oh, I should be tipped now as a Congress lady too. So tell me what you guys think. We are Amira's therapy session. I'm sorry, but yes, yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. Neil says the tip comes after the service. Thank you. Thank you. The DoorDash driver had not completed the service yet and had not delivered the food. That's way too soon to ask for a tip. These people, Neil, are expecting you to tip before they even drop off your food. Huh? And these people are throwing people's food down the street for $2 extra because you're going to get $2 extra. This is crazy. This is crazy, absurd behavior for $2. $2. If $2 is going to make or break your day, you gotta figure out something better to do. And if you're not making enough wages, you could say, oh, my company expects me to live off of tips. Well, then maybe there's something wrong in the company's system that needs to change. But to put all that burden on the customer to pay your employees' wages because you don't want to pay them and you're going to depend on people's goodwill. No. I believe if you want to have this tipping culture, then put it in with the fees of the food. That's it. Just put it in with the fees naturally. Does that make sense? Instead of it being like, oh, you can tip 20%, 30%, or $5, $10, whatever. Just put adding the tip, the delivery gratitude fee, whatever you want to call it, another $4 or what have you. Just put it like that. So then there's not this debate of, oh, did you give me enough? Did you do this? Did you tip me? I deserve a tip. Anyway. Samuel Nezzy says, holding food hostage for a tip should be a crime. I know. And I got into an argument online about this because I commented on that video of the DoorDash thing today. And I got into another argument online regarding this. There were people coming to me as waitresses or people who work in the tipping industry or whatever. And they came to me saying like, if we don't get tips, we don't get enough pay. You don't understand. They like, if you like our service, then give us money. And all I said was this: it should not be on the customer's shoulders to pay you for your job, for you doing your job. Unless you are singing to me, you bring me balloons, you got an instrument going, you're playing an instrument for me while I eat my dinner. Unless you're doing something above and beyond, I don't believe I have to be forced to pay extra money if I don't want to. Now, if you're like super kind and super nice, I'll just do it naturally because I'm like, okay, you're sweet. But let's be real, in the rest of the world, this is offensive. Tipping equals simping. Now the red pills are going to be out there like, yeah, bro, no tipping. That's simp behavior. I love it. Jacob, it's called a bonus for a reason, I guess. Wait, what are you guys talking about? Oh, I see. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Tipping is optional. It's not, Dio. So many places treat it as if it's in the holy grail that you must give extra money. You must. Even if the service wasn't above and beyond, even if the service wasn't even great. There's people out there, certain restaurants, they'll still sit there and look at you after you paid for your food. You paid for your food and maybe even left them a $2 tip just for the soda or whatever. People are still sitting there looking at you. Oh, so you're not going to tip? Tip what? You did your job. I am not your employer. You did your job. Go to your employer and ask for rewards for doing your job. You're not going to get it from me. Another thing, when we go to the nail salons, this is a girl thing. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But just really quickly. Girls, we go to the nail salons and it is there too. You have all these Asian ladies talking about how much you're going to tip them and all this. And I'm like, I only asked for you to shape my nails and put a polish on there. You don't need a tip for that. You did a very normal job. That is your job. That is what you're here for. I'm not paying you extra for that. I'm just not. Anyway, I know, Nas, what if they're roller skating your food to you? If you fall, I'll give you money. I'll give you a tip. If you fall and you didn't spill my drink, I'll give you a tip. That's deserving of a really big tip. Now, that's a $50 tip right there. You roller skating to me, you fell, and you didn't even spill my drink. Then you get a tip. But if roller skating is part of the job, then no, I'm not, no. Go ahead, Carrie. He said, there was a guy at Olive Garden I would have given a 50% tip to. There's been a few servers that I should have charged for dealing with. Everybody has met one server that you wanted to give your whole wallet to. Everybody has met that one server. And I have too. I've met this girl. She was incredible. She was just incredible. She catered to all of our needs. We wanted to be moved tables. We were quite demanding. Let's just be real. We were demanding. And she took it with a smile. She helped us. She went above and beyond. That's why she got a $120 tip. That's why, because she was going above and beyond. But like I said, all these mediocre people out there who's telling me that I need to tip them just for doing their job, I'm not tipping you for doing your job. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. They're used to it. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. Do you guys believe that a person is deserving of your extra money for doing their job, the job that they signed up to do, the job that they got hired to do? Do you believe that it's your job to pay their wages? And I'm not talking about if they're going above and beyond, then that's different. But just regular old job. Starbucks is asking for tips now. Did you guys see that? Starbucks. $1,000 a cup. $1,000 a cup for a crappy latte that Big Java or any other coffee place does better. $1,000 a cup. And then they have the nerve to say, would you like to give us a tip? Yeah, I'll give you a tip. Stop being leftist a-holes, and maybe more people will shop at Starbucks. Make decent coffee every now and again, and maybe people will actually like Starbucks. Stop trying to be anti-socialist and anti-communist. Make your coffee. Coffee. That's what you say you... Anyway, all right. That's enough. Okay, I'll move on now. Back to the news. So AOC says that she would like a tip. They want a raise. And despite their argument, many Americans, including progressives, are against that raise. Next, in the news, Barbara Lee crashed the House committee hearing concerning U.S. and Cuba relations and was promptly booted by Republican Nora Elvira Salazar. She was booted for attempting to, quote unquote, spread communist propaganda. Lee is not a member of the committee, yet she attempted to speak in favor of restoring ties between the two countries of, U.S. and Cuba. Salazar, however, is pushing for Cuba to remain on America's list of terrorism supporting countries, as they should. I mean, isn't Cuba in line with... Okay. All right. Well, she says Salazar, however, is pushing for Cuba to remain on America's list of terrorism supporting countries. Following her forced exit from the hearing, Lee took to Twitter/X to spin the event into her being a heroic victim that was silenced because of her views. Lee has reportedly been working for years to normalize relations between America and Cuba. Lee is also working on legislation to address Cuba's improved private sector. What do you guys think about Cuba? We never talk about Cuba. How do you guys see Cuba? Because I see Cuba as two things. I see Cuba as a communist. Well, it was a communist dream before, but now look at it. Just like all communist dreams, they're all garbage now. And I see it as a country that supports nations that are against America. So, what do you guys think about Cuba? Cubans, however, the Cubans that have come to America, majority living in Florida, most Cubans turn out to be Republicans. Reason is because they come from communism and they see traces of communism in the Democrat Party. So they tend to steer far away from the Democrat Party. And most Cubans are Republicans. BTK says, Cuba is communist, dictator-led, and anti-American. Right. Dio says, Cuba was a great nation when it was conservative and capitalist. It's in ruins now. Dr. M says, the people fleeing Cuba don't really seem happy about the place, and I trust their firsthand experience. That's a good one, Dr. M. That's a good one. Communist pooper hole. And I agree. Mr. Castro was once the victim of a prank call from Miami radio DJ. I remember that. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, actually. That was funny. Cuba Missile Crisis. I'll leave that there. I'll leave it there. 14 says, nice cars and beautiful women. Cuban women? I think Puerto Rican women are prettier. Sorry. Sorry, Cuba. Sorry, Cuba. You didn't know about that, Dr. M? Yeah, it happened. It did happen. Says, I love when the rainbow people wear Che shirts. You know, these people are so hell-bent on trying to make themselves heroes. They're always heroes of something. We're heroes. We're saving these people. We're saving those people. And it's like, do you even know that majority of the people that you say you're trying to save, if they had the opportunity to have your head placed on a stick, they would. Where is it? Okay. All right. Maybe I'm confusing Cuba with Colombia. There you go. Cuba is not known for, listen, Cuban food is good. Their music is good. Their beaches are beautiful. But their women, I wouldn't say that they're the best. I'm sorry, Cubans. I'm sorry if there's any Cubans in the chat. I'm sorry. Maybe I just haven't seen them. But as a girl who lived in Colombia, I've seen way too much. I've seen too much. In Colombia, everywhere you turn, it's like, oh, wow. Oh, did you see her? Wow. Oh my God, her hair is so nice. Wow, look at her. She's got the perfect body. Oh my gosh, her eyes are so pretty. Oh my gosh, did you see her mouth? Oh, it's so cute. That's Colombia. It's Colombia. It's everywhere. Just everywhere. Girls are just beautiful. They're all just yeah. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. I love it. Cubans and Colombians contributed to today's expensive Miami Vice City with their drug traffic money. Well, you got to remember, they had to do something to survive, Nas. I mean, there's still a success story out of there, I guess you could say. Ethan says the only positive thing about current communist or post-communist countries is neoliberalism is non-existent and their women are thinner, are skinnier. Actually, but these countries still tend to be more traditional. These countries that came out of this the post-communism and so. I mean, think about all of the old Soviet Union nations. Like I mean, listen, I just heard, I don't know, I think it was Samuel who was talking to me yesterday, or Larry. Oh, let me put the link in the chat. Sorry guys. I'm so sorry I didn't give you guys the link. I put the link in the chat. I was wondering why. Okay, I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can come join me. Okay, here we go. But I was talking to Larry or Samuel yesterday, and we were talking about Russia. Mother Russia. Mother Russia in my cup. Anyway, we were talking about Mother Russia, right? And we were saying that Russia, oh no, sorry, it wasn't them. It was someone else who was telling me about this. But anyway, Mother Russia is now putting books in their schools talking about man on man, woman on woman, all the nonsense that we have here in America. This is in the inner cities now of Russia. That means it's going to spread like a cancer. And Russia, when I was in Russia, it was not like that. When I was in Russia, it was still very much a communist feel to it. It was still very much traditional feeling, because all the women, like a majority of the women, especially outside of Moscow, outside of Moscow, every woman is like they wear kasinka. The kasinka is a head wrap. They wear the head wrap, and they're very traditional, very traditional. They cook, they clean, they work hard, they don't complain. And yeah, but the men are useless in Russia. Let's just be real. Russian men are useless in Russia, because those men, they drink all day. Drink all day. And yeah, anyway. Hi, Dio. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm kind of surprised to hear that about Russia. It seems like a lot of the world is moving away from that. I know China especially has hardened down on making sure its men are much more masculine.
But the thing is, I don't know. I think it's in the culture. It's ingrained in the culture for Russia to have drinking be so, you know what I mean? Drinking is just, anyway. But about the sex in the books in the schools, that is starting to happen in the city in Moscow. And I think right now it's being protested highly against, because in Russia they're not going to be like America. They're not passive. They're not passive like Americans are. They're not going to just sit there and wait at the board meetings or the school board meeting and talk about the event. In Russia, they just start throwing fists. They don't. I mean, there is no talking in Russia. People just start fighting, and that's what I think is starting to happen now in Russia. I got this intel from family that's living in Russia right now. So
I'd imagine if that's going on, it's probably U.S. CIA involvement. I mean, this is how we topple countries.
right, right, right. And how fitting that it happens right after Russia starts war with Ukraine, right? How fitting that right now is when this whole perversion in the schools happens.
Oh yeah, they're going to be punished if they lose this. They are going to be made an example of internationally, because if Russia takes Ukraine, they're going to take the 14th largest oil reserve in the world with Ukraine. Plus, they're already a massive reserve, and they're with Saudi Arabia now, which is the primary dealer for the Middle East in oil, and they're forming BRICS. So America's petrodollar is being threatened, and normally we topple entire countries when something like this happens. A certain world leaders start talking about a gold standard, they die.
Dio, it's not even that it's being threatened. The American petrodollar is gone. Saudi Arabia no longer respects the dollar. They don't. They are moving to the ruble. The ruble. Yeah, ruble. They're moving to the ruble now. Anyway, another thing that I wanted to bring up to you guys was, have you guys noticed that America is in war right now in Yemen? Did you guys not see? Do you guys not know what's happening? in Yemen? America is on the ground, boots on the ground, missiles in the air, fighting against the Houthis and the people in Iran. You guys know that, right? So we have been entered into a war helping, I guess, Saudi Arabia, going against Saudi Arabia. I'm not exactly sure which side we're on at this point, but we're in a war, and a lot of Americans don't even know that we're in a war right now.
Yeah, we call them peacekeeping operations now. That way we can skip the entire having to get congressional approval thing. They're peacekeeping operations.
I love it. I love it. I just love it. And you know, the thing is, when I saw this is something that Obama used to do. You guys remember that Obama used to get us into random wars and Americans didn't even know that we were in war? You guys remember that? That's why I said this term is just Obama's third term. This is Obama's doing. This is all Obama, getting us into random wars in the Middle East that we didn't even know that we're in. We are fighting Iran right now in Yemen. And most Americans don't even know because we're so focused on, oh, Israel, Palestine, oh, Ukraine, Russia. We need to be thinking about the war that we're in. Missiles are in the air right now. It's not just like, oh, we're just defending, we're just helping one nation. We are actively, that's the sound that missiles make in my head. We are actively doing that right now.
I think the thing people really need to understand this too is this is not so much Obama's third term as this is his handler's third term. The people who run Biden and run Obama, the reason they had Epstein and Soros, those are the middlemen. We got Biden. That's he's taking these bribes, but he's just a puppet. The real people running this are over in Israel. We are an Israeli colony, and that's the big war that's going on right now. Is are we going to remain an Israeli colony, or are we going to become a Chinese colony? There's no independent America right now because the right now is pushing for us to maintain as an Israeli colony, and the left is moving more towards China. But there's nobody that's genuinely pro-America that I'm seeing.
This is the thing. And you know what? I don't think you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. I don't think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. When I just told you guys that about America being boots on the ground right now, what I'm saying is World War III is now. That's what I meant to say. Because all it's going to take right now is for us to make one wrong move in Yemen or it's too. Do you guys not see what I see? Am I wrong? Dio, do you not see what I see, right? Watch. If we are right now in war, or an active war, hand-in-hand combat right now in Yemen, we are at war with Iran. Iran is friends with Russia. We make one wrong move with them, Russia joins in, and now we have two superpowers at it.
Well, I mean, this isn't nothing new, though. I mean, we've been in a world war consistently. We've just been at the top of the game, so we haven't really noticed. I mean, we've been involved in the Middle East in multiple countries. We've been fighting China with economic policies. We've been fighting all these little places down in South America. We've been in a constant war to be on the top. Now that we're going under, it's going to become much more like a genuine world war rather than a cold world war. And there's going to be.
I'm going to disagree with you there because the reason I disagree with you, well, actually, I agree with you partly because you said we've been in a world war, but the thing is, we haven't had superpowers at it in a long time, and that's the war that I'm talking about. That's the war that really matters because it doesn't matter if America goes to war with Yemen because Yemen is nothing on the world scale. You know, these non countries that we just trample over or we dominate, that's nothing to us. I'm talking about world powers going at it, nuclear powered countries going at it. And that's why I said this is a world war that has already begun, but we're fighting our enemies. We're fighting the super nations by using all these small nations, if that makes any sense. We're using Iran to fight Russia. We're using We're using other countries to fight Russia, Ukraine. We're using Ukraine to fight Russia. We're pushing Ukraine to the front lines, but it's actually our missiles that are hitting Russia. We're using Iran to push to the front line, but it's actually our missiles that are hitting. You know what I mean? It's and also in the Palestinian side too, the whole Palestine and Israel. We're using all these small countries to fight, but eventually it's going to be all the other countries are out the way, and it's going to be us and Russia.
Oh yeah. The proxy wars, these can't continue forever. That's always been the case, though. I mean, again, we've maintained such a dominance that nobody wanted to go to war with us. We're so weak now that nobody cares if they go to war with us. I mean, what are we going to do? Throw Jenny and her two moms at them? I mean, we don't have a real military now. We can't even we have essentially we used to make fun of all these little African nations because they'd have all these accidents and these. I mean, look at us now. Our infrastructure is falling apart. We can't fly planes. Our trains are dumping forever chemicals off the tracks. We're not a serious country anymore. We're not a world power. And nature abhors a vacuum. So, yeah, these proxy wars are going to get worse because the big countries are going to say, he's out of the way, let's move in. Israel was able to use us for its proxy wars. When Israel said, there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, we put boots on the ground. We were their little proxy country. We were their Ukraine. And now we're too failed and broken to hold Israel up anymore. So we're going down. The banker boys are going down. The whole world's power dynamic is going to shift. And that never happens without conflict.
Thank you, Agent. It's not a top. It's actually what is this thing called, guys? It's not a top. It goes all the way down to the floor. Hold on. I'll just show 1 second. It's like this. See? It goes down to the ground. You see? It's long. I don't know what this is called. What are these things called? Cape or a robe, or I don't know what it's called. But yeah. Yeah, a gown. You could say it's a gown. Hi, Zelich. Where's your twin? Where's your twin? Hi, Zelich. Robe, I think. Oh, okay, robe, I guess. Yeah, but thank you, Agent. I like it too. I mostly wear these things. I have lots of them, different styles and what have you. But back to the war. Dio, when I saw this, what I saw when I was looking at this war and seeing that American missiles are being thrown in Yemen, all I could think was, Biden never addressed the nation about this. He never addressed the nation about going to war in Yemen or anything. Or maybe I missed it. Did I miss it? Did you guys see anything? Because I didn't. I never saw any presidential addressing the nation or president addresses the nation. I never saw anything about this. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing missiles being thrown in Yemen
I think that's going to be the new normal going forward. I don't think they want to inform us of every little fight because then we might have an objection. They do it quietly. They don't get congressional approval. This is what it is now. And that's why they're cutting down so much on the freedoms. They're doing so much in the surveillance. Anybody who speaks up, they're going to start making examples of them. We saw this already with shadow banning on big tech and all this stuff. We're like, we let the corporations do it. We don't have a First Amendment anymore. I mean, because again, we see the government was funding big tech. The government was allowing big tech all these legal protections, and in return, it says, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So essentially, we've allowed them to use third parties to come in and take away our constitutional rights. So we're not going to be able to resist this as it stands. They're just going to keep doing it. They're going to have wars without congressional approval. They're not going to inform us when it's going on. They're going to start instituting the draft. The recruitment numbers are way down. So if there's anybody out there who doesn't think you will be drafted, guess again. And we're probably at some point going to suffer a complete economic collapse and a civil war in the United States because people get hungry and it doesn't bring out their nice side.
Well, I think that's probably and so hear me out, Dio. I think what's imminent right now is because it's this election year. This election is already starting off messy. I think something might get started this year. Something just might. And if something gets started this year, with all the wars going around in the world currently, I believe that we could be vulnerable to be attacked when we're having our fight in our nation, our own fight against ourselves, that could make us vulnerable to be attacked. And then I don't know, but I feel something coming. And I've been talking to you guys for a long time about this. I feel something coming, not just from instincts and tingly feeling. I feel something logically coming too. Like if you use your mind and you just look at what's happening and you look at, something has to give. Nothing. I don't think that we can just move on to the next year, like this time next year. I don't think that we can move into next year and still be cool with each other and everything just worked out and we just transferred powers to a new president easily. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Hi, Detox.
That's what all this mass immigration is about. That's the same way they fought the first American Civil War, was with the Irish. They brought them in, and that's how they won. Now they're bringing in people from Mexico and Africa and the Middle East, and they're going to use them the same way.
No, but China, the Chinese are coming in. That's what I'm saying. And the Chinese won't be used. What the Chinese are here to do is to get us, like destroy us from the inside out, invade us from the inside out, if that makes any sense. We have spies everywhere right now in America from China, and they come here through the southern border.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere, and they're fighting this thing that's called unrestricted warfare. So they know that it's going to be impossible for them to beat us in a war head to head, even though they might have the troops to do it. That might be like the last step in their process. Their main goal is to destabilize the country from within, because it'd be way too difficult for them to fight a war with us from overseas. You understand? And the thing is, it's very difficult to fight a war for any country, no matter how many troops you have, on multiple fronts, because you'll need lots of different sections that your attention is split. The tactics of it is different, and it's just a pain in the ass and super expensive. And when our country is already going through hyperinflation, this is just going to be like a ticking time bomb for our country. It's crazy.
What does the hyperinflation have to do with it in your mind?
Because how are you going to afford to pay the troops to fight when our money and our currency is already worth nothing?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened in lots of these little African countries that defaulted. They started printing money like we're doing. You would go to work, and by the time you got off at the end of the day, the pay you took home, you could not even buy a loaf of bread. So
yeah, it's toilet paper.
Yeah, completely worthless. And if that happens, which it is, we're seeing it happen, it's speeding up, then what we're going to see is soldiers are going to start going full warlord to feed their families, because their primary loyalty is to their own. All these people, they got all these fancy bodyguards that think they're going to help them. These people hiding in these Hawaiian bunkers that think they're going to be okay. They're not going to be okay.
Dio, go to the naughty corner. I'm just kidding. No,
what
Dio. No, Dio, speak about it. I'm yelling at you because I want you to speak about it. But Dio, we need to speak about this too. The bunkers, guys. Do you guys know about this bunker system? That is the reason why Hawaii was burned down in the first place, is to move all those people out, displace them, so that there could be places to put those bunkers. Because the elites know something is coming. The elites know, and this is why I say you need to watch them. Watch those fools. Watch those lizards. Watch those lizard people, because they know what's coming before we know. It's like watching the animals. You know how the animals fly away before something's coming? Watch them. They're fleeting, they're building, they're and that's why that fire happened. That's why Oprah's place. Oh, did you guys hear about the laser thing too? The thing about the whole, like, it didn't hit anything blue and all that. That's why all the blue things are okay, because the laser didn't want to. People are also speaking about laser, that they have video footage of that laser causing the fires in Hawaii.
Yeah, a lot of eyewitnesses said that's what they saw, like confirmed. And then the crazy part about it too is, why is Bill Gates buying all of this farming real estate if he doesn't plan on raising cattle? What's he going to be doing with all this land that's supposed to be designated for feeding Americans, when we know he talks specifically about reducing the population. I don't know.
Dio?
Yeah, we know that they've been talking about moving into a new world order. We know that the first thing Putin did when he went into Ukraine was he started blowing up all the biolabs. We know the biolab in Wuhan was World Health Organization owned, Fauci funded. We know what's going on. We're holding these viruses as blackmail, and these other countries are getting rid of them. We know, for example, the one that was released in Wuhan, the primary group that suffered the most casualties was Asian people. And I've talked a lot about specifically engineering viruses to affect specific demographics more than others. They talked about doing this with the food supply too. So if you eat certain foods, some people will be okay, and other people it'll give them allergic reactions and they'll die. But these are targeted bioweapons aimed at specific ethnicities. And that might also be one of the reasons for the mass importations into America, is if you have a more demographically mixed group, you know you're going to have some survivors from at least one of those. So, I mean, we're losing the labs. They're getting their hands on the bioweapons. This is happening.
So you, wait. But that still does not make sense, Dio, because America is already diverse enough without having this invasion. We already are diverse enough. We have every race and every blood sample here in America. We don't need more. So I would agree with you.
75% white.
Yeah, it's mostly white.
White. No, wait. What do you mean white? Because white, that's not a race. We are, okay, it is a race, but I'm saying white, there's plenty of different whites. There's, the Polish, the Irish, the Germans, and all of them have different types of blood and all this. So I can't say, oh, just because somebody is labeled as white, that they're not going to be diverse genetically. We're still
but the thing that you have to keep in mind, Amira, is that in terms of reality, whether it's Russian or Polish or German and they're all white, that doesn't matter, because in the United States we consider them all white.
More than that,
what the power structure is trying to do is to establish control in the cities so that they can maintain power. This is also a big part of why you only see like severe gun control in Democrat-led cities, because it's not about you can't control a population that's armed. So
no, you're getting off topic. I want Dio to tell me about this genetic thing, because he said, or I forget, one of you guys said that's why they're supporting this invasion, is because we want to have more diverse genes so that maybe we can have more survivors when we get attacked by the other nations with these bioweapons and so on and so forth. I'm arguing that we already have enough diversity in our genetic codes. Even if we say we're white, we still have. Go ahead, Dio.
Well, if you look at it like a Polish person and a German person genetically, you're not going to see massive differences. So the things that are going to affect a Polish person and the things that are going to affect a German person are going to be very close. If the original scientific model they were using was you had the three different ethnic groups. Was you had the Caucasoids, which is the European peoples and the peoples of India. You had the Mongoloids, which is the Asian peoples, and then you had the I can't say the third group because it sounds too close to something else, but they were the African peoples. And these three groups, based on bone structure and genetics and various other things, they're all very similar. So if you go to South Africa, it's a different type of African than you would find in, say, Ethiopia, but they're still very closely related. It's like they may not be brother and sister, but they're at least cousin.
Yeah, and the thing to take into account. The thing to take into account is that it's not off topic, it's the same topic. Because when we're speaking in terms of affecting the diversity in the United States, it doesn't matter which white you are, they want to get rid of those. You understand? So you can be Polish, Russian, whatever. In the United States, the majority of white people vote Republican. You understand that?
I don't think they're trying to get rid of white people, though. I don't want to call you detox, but you understand. I don't think that they're trying to get rid of white people. I don't think that that's the plan.
Well, they're either trying to get rid of us or they're trying to make us into sociopaths and really tick us off. If you look,
I think they're trying to make you guys neutered. They're trying to make white people neutered, subservient, and willing to obey, or the purpose is to create a racial war, to create a race war. This is the reason why they're allowing the race tensions to get so high, is to, you, like you said, make you angry as white people and make you fight for your nation. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, if you look at the rates that we're killing ourselves in and we're not breeding in, if they wanted to keep us around, they're doing a very bad job of it, because we're going to be extinct in maybe 3 generations at this rate. If that.
They're playing the long game. You got to keep that in mind.
Yeah. The thing that I think they might be doing, because we imported a lot of Germans with the missile programs after World War II, and those worked their way into the power structure. We have a lot of different factions vying for control. They might be trying to form a stronger racial identity by making an us versus them, kind of force it down everyone's throats that everyone else is out to get us. And an interesting thing about sociopathy is that it can be genetic, but it can also be induced by trauma and abuse. And if you repeatedly tell people over and over and over again through these shaming rituals that everybody hates you and everybody is out to get you and your race is the enemy of every other race, I mean,
whenever you look at like psychiatric treatments, or like even when it was something as simple as therapy, they usually have a 2-pronged approach to tackle any type of mental disorder. Like if you're depressed, they say go to therapy, but then there's also chemical therapy. So you can take antidepressants in conjunction with the personal therapy. So it can be induced culturally and chemically, and usually that's the approach they take whenever they're trying to put 2 groups of people against each other. Single each other out.
I just put Larry in timeout for trying to say Will's name 3 times. How you like them apples, Larry?
Is Will gonna sing us a rap?
No. First of all, no. Stop. Don't even say his name. Hi, Will. The other Will, the more tolerable Will. Hi, Will. How are you?
Hey.
Did you want to speak on anything?
Yeah, I mean, you guys said, I think somebody said that war leads to hyperinflation, and that's, I mean, historically not accurate. It only leads hyperinflation if you end up into a lot of debt because of the war and you're unable to pay that debt. But the U.S. and especially England came out of World War II and World War One. I mean, very prosperous. So, I mean, war times basically ended the Great Depression because it led to a huge building of the U.S. manufacturing base, the
Oh, I
weapons
see what you're
base.
saying.
So it
Yeah.
actually,
Instead of making it worse, it actually gets us out of our financial issues.
Yeah, the thing
Yes.
about that though is that only happens when the dollar isn't debt itself and you have a manufacturing base. We don't have either of those things anymore.
yeah,
We have to
I mean,
borrow that money to make those machines.
what
yes,
happened?
that's the problem that I think America needs to kind of bring back manufacturing back to our shores and not rely on China. And I think kind of during the cold, we saw that we didn't have any of the manufacturing. We were importing everything. So when shipping became so expensive and all that stuff, and so I do see people are kind of more committed to bringing manufacturing back here, and I think that was a huge selling point of why I like Trump, was to bring
Yeah, he tried.
manufacturing back to America.
He tried. And
I wanna
in the
get
old
deep.
days, hold on. In the old days, war used to be beneficial, like one of the best things that could happen for an economy. But we're missing those 2 very important elements. Which is why Trump tried to bring it back.
Right. I want to get Dio to respond to Will, because I think you wanted to say something, Dio, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the reason that we did so well after World War II, and this goes back to the wealth of nations, it's been discussed for literally hundreds of years, is once we begin exporting, it doesn't matter that we have debt because we can pay it off. During World War II, Europe destroyed itself completely. It bombed out its cities. It wiped out its populations. We came at the end, and we built up a strong manufacturing base. So we didn't get rich because of the war. We got rich because everybody else had to buy from us because nobody else was left standing.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
not going to
that's
happen this time around.
that
We're
was part
more
of
in the Zimbabwe. South Africa's doing the same thing now. I think it was there was one other nation that did this. I forget what it was, but they killed off all the people who were good producers. And we haven't done that with machetes here in America. We've done that with feminism.
Every communist revolution has done that.
If you look at what's going on with the men today, we're dropping out of the labor force. We lost 7.2 million working Americans in 2022, I believe it was. And that's while mass importing immigrants who are predominantly fighting age men. So if you're mass importing men and your numbers are still going down, there's something wrong going on.
Well,
I mean, that's a problem I view with the job creators in America. They create jobs like tourists, jobs like tech in that once a new technology like AI comes on board, it quickly takes over your jobs. And so before we used to have jobs like manufacturing, we used to have jobs like building things. Construction used to be, I think, a more better job, but now we don't have those kind of good jobs anymore. And so
well, I
it
actually
just
come from construction. I was 14 years in construction, 10 as an electrician, and the jobs are still there, and you can still make good money there. But they're having massive problems getting men in. For the longest time, I was the youngest guy in the job, and after a while, after like 10 years, I just got old enough that just wasn't the case anymore. But they're not getting young men in because men primarily work for a reason.
yeah.
The best way I can explain it is this. Women make 83 cents for every dollar a man makes. But women cover 80% of the spending within the economy. So about 2/3 of all the money that a young man would make doing these jobs goes to his wife, and she spends it. And we're not getting married anymore. So single men, they don't need money. They don't have any incentive to work or be productive. And nobody else is producing at a level that everybody else, women and immigrants both cost more than they produce. So we're not getting people in to replace these men, and nobody else can cover the costs. We're not going to be able to pay back the debt like we did after World War II. We're not having this massive manufacturing base. We don't have productive men. We have lazy single men who are staying at home because they have no reason not to. And we have feminist women who make planes that explode in the air.
Jesus.
I mean, that's pretty accurate right there. I mean,
You ain't wrong.
How do we get there?
I mean, it would take extreme like economic pain to get back to
I'm beating
balance of
everybody.
society.
Wait, let me get my belt. I'm getting my
But
belt.
on one of two things,
No, wait 1 second. Everybody's getting beat right now. I swear. You guys keep saying Will's name and everybody's getting put in timeout. I'm not joking. Everybody is in timeout now. Everybody.
Look at Grandma
Next-
Amira.
Next person. Next person who says Will, get everybody's in timeout. I don't care. Everybody. Everybody can do it, Larry.
I wanted to bring up some of Nietzsche's philosophies. Actually, I wanted to discuss the will to life, and I just wanted to know what do you guys think about the will to life?
A man needs purpose, but are you talking about something specific or will generally in life?
I'm just messing with her. I'm drunk.
Oh, I got it.
No, I'm banning everybody. Everybody's in timeout today.
If anybody says it one more time, he'll appear like the Sandman.
Really?
No.
Really appear?
I told Will he needs to get a channel so then he can take over there. He comes over here and takes over.
In order for us to
I'm the
bring back
wrong
that
Will,
manufacturing, in order for us to bring back the manufacturing, like we would have to either massively bomb China's factories, which would be a terrifying thing to see on the world stage as far as politics are concerned, or find a way to make our products cheaper than China. The free trade agreements was crap. crap. It's extremely destructive to our economy, and it's part of the reason why all the jobs left. But guess what? Now China has all the machinery. How are we going to get that back cheaper than it is to ship? I mean, think about how crazy that is, that it's cheaper to buy it from a place 10 million miles away than to make it here in your own country, because we don't have the parts, the chips, the electronics, the base to make products in our own country. That's
Yeah,
a
and that's
huge
very
tumor in our economy.
dangerous. That's very dangerous to, because you like your adversary is one of your biggest customers, and so I think that's a future risk because once again,
Dependent on
after
them.
the Taiwan election, they're practically like saying like, no, we're definitely going to be invading Taiwan very soon, and so if we go into war with them, like what's going to happen when it comes to the cheap products anymore? It's like it's going to be very limited, and so I mean, I think it's something that a lot of policymakers don't talk about it.
Look what
So you
happened
guys
during
stop
COVID.
doing that.
Look what happened during COVID, right? It's a national emergency. We need masks all of a sudden. Not that they did anything. You know who was the major producer of masks during
Oh yeah,
our all the masks came from China, and half of them didn't. The defective, strings missing, parts missing. It's just crazy.
Well, I think the one thing we have going for us now, and this is going to sound kind of counterintuitive, but I think it's that we are having this hyperinflation set in and that we are losing the petrodollar. We had options before, and we had the option
That's
to
basically our ace in the hole around the world is the petrodollar.
Well,
We don't have that.
No,
America's pretty much done. We're gonna have to find some other way to base the economy off of something, and I don't know what else we got.
We got labor. That's what we should have been doing. I mean, we were taking somebody else's product, basing it off of that, selling their product, and then charging everybody an inflationary tax by printing money. So we say, I'll sell you a share of this oil for $100, then I'll print out another $100, and you only own half of the oil that you bought.
It's going to take an extreme amount of ingenuity and innovation in order for us to find cheaper ways to make it and sell it, to produce it and sell it in our own country. Major innovation.
We have natural oil reserves, but nobody's going to be buying it because Russia and the Middle East are tying together into
OPEC,
a massive distributor. We're not going to be able to produce enough, I mean, maybe Canada would buy it, but they have more oil than us anyway, so they're not going to. I don't see it happening.
We can produce plenty. In fact, we have more than Saudi Arabia. If we
the problem's the shipping. The shipping costs.
DC has this funny way of like pointing out our enemies and then like helping them out, right? Like
Iran.
We ended like they start a war with they're intentionally trying to start a war with Russia, and then at the same time we stop domestic oil production. Why in the world would you do that? Buying oil from our enemies.
Yeah, Zillage is right. Once we lose the petrodollar, we're going to have no choice but to make our own stuff. So that's going to force manufacturing to come back home. But the lack of labor is what's really going to handicap us. Again, it goes to what I said before. Women make 83 cents for every dollar a man makes, but they spend 80% of the money in the economy. If they're taking 2/3 of men's money as wives and just spending it for them, when men don't marry, men don't need to work. You can take a man that works 60 hours a week and he can live on 20 hours a week and get the same standard of living. That's not going to work.
We just sleep in a truck and say the hell with it.
Once the petrodollar is done and this whole facade of the money printing economy is done, women will have no money to spend. There will be nothing, like their dollar will be devalued. They'll be back to begging men to marry them, and so it's all a loop. Like every society goes through this. So, I mean, I think like if the petrodollar is done and men can no longer just spend their 20 cents, they will have to get those manufacturing jobs, and they will have to basically build up their manufacturing base.
Well, I'm not sure that women will be able to get men back, though. I mean,
naturally fall back towards
Stop it, Dio. You always
They
do
would,
this, Dio. Stop it. You always have this pessimistic view of everything, like nothing. You understand everything that has happened in the past is happening now. Nothing is new under the sun. So yes, every
yeah.
single time there's always been times when men and women went to war and disagreed, and they always come back, Dio. This is
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
permanent.
like it
The thing
happened
is,
in Rome and
hold
then
on, let me
Rome
finish.
fell.
Let
But
me
I
finish.
mean,
Let me
we're not
finish my.
talking about.
One person, guys.
Yeah, let me finish what I was saying. Let me finish it. So, in natural circumstances, what usually happens is the woman will fall when the money is worthless and there are no jobs to be jobbed, no jobs to be worked. What naturally tends to happen is that the women tend to lean towards going back to traditional values, leaning back on a strong and like thorough dude. The thing is, that percentage of strong and thorough dudes is going down and down and down and down. So if you look at it, it's a two shot problem because your money is now worthless. You can't find a man. What are you going to do besides die or live on the street?
Once again, weak times create strong men, and bad times create strong men. So once again, when everything goes to the gutter, the men will finally get off of watching their corn and eating their Burger King and surfing through the web, and they will finally get back to realizing that they're men. Once again,
No.
the money printing has upkept the social rate of an economy that I don't think can continue.
Dio, are you going to respond to what I said?
Yeah, I would like to weigh in on this. If you look at what the right's freaking out over right now, and there's the different fragments of the right, the Ben Shapiro side and the other side are both in agreement that men need to get married. They're all freaking out over it. Lauren Chen just did a huge stream over it, got a whole bunch of other people in. These major talking heads are all talking about it. The mainstream media has started talking about it. And the problem is this. A man wants to marry when he is young. He wants to have children. He wants to have a family. By the time a man gets old, biologically, he's designed in his 30s for his sex drive to start dropping. He's going to start wanting to look after his grandchildren. That's what's going to happen. Bachelorhood is habit forming. You take
Dio,
these men.
Dio, that is completely against most science ever. Most young boys, they want to get out and have adventures and
No,
fight
that's
for something.
women. Women
No,
want
wait.
No, men want that too.
No, I didn't interrupt
He's
anyone.
right.
Please, I didn't interrupt anyone. I don't want to be interrupted too, please. Dio, you said that men want to get married young, and then in their 30s, they want to be grandfathers. That is completely against every what happens is people with cultures try to force men to get married young. That's not men's dream. Women's dream is to get married young. Women want to be the Barbies. No, listen, because men, you know that men want to go out there and soil their oats. What's it called? Soil? How do you say it? What's the
The
proper term?
seed. Spread the seed.
Yeah, soil the seeds. There you go. The men
Spread
want to
their
go out
seeds.
there. They want to enjoy, they want to feel free. And then after that, when they hit 30s, they want to get married. They don't want to be married at 22, 23.
Yeah, the thing is, the women are doing that now too, and it's
No.
too late by that time.
That's what I'm saying. This is
Exactly.
always,
It's like a whole role reversal.
may I, if I may.
Go ahead.
This has always been the big difference. The myth that women are naturally pure and want to marry, and that men are naturally horn dogs. Men create a machismo image of this because it's what society tells them they should do. But most men, when they are young, want to get married. I've talked to a lot of men who have said this, and if you look at what's happening in the younger generation, society reflects this. You look at a male-dominated society, what are you going to see? You're going to see June Cleaver. You're going to see this stereotypical 1950s housewife mom who cooks and cleans and has the white picket fence and the American dream, and that's what men dream of. Yes, they are ramped up on all kinds of hormones, and they do have that side to them where they want to do things. But this whole sowing the wild oats myth, if you look at what has happened in the Tinder generation, it is not the men who have gone hog wild. I hate the term feminism because it's a misnomer. Women's liberation is far more accurate. Women's liberation is what it really is, because feminism didn't trick women. Feminism didn't tell women what to do. Feminism just took the reins off. It said, you can do what you want, and this is what women chose to do. And when women did it, men didn't go out there and say, I want to sow my wild oats like crazy. If you look at it, 63% of men under 30 have left the dating market. They have said, this disgusts me. I don't want this. I'm not going to do this. This is not what men want. And I can't.
Look, men would do that if they knew how to. Most men don't have the charisma, the confidence, the financial resources to be able to do that. But if they did, they would. That's how we're naturally designed. We settle down when we get older. I don't know a single. I knew probably one single person from the age of like 14 to 27 or 28 that was like, I want to get married. Most young men don't want to get married. They see what our fathers went through with their marriage 20 years ago.
Okay,
It's a losing proposition.
Yes, there's trauma. But all right, let me tell you a joke. A blonde goes to a doctor. The doctor comes into the room and she says, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're pregnant. And the blonde looks at the doctor and says, are you sure it's mine? Now that's funny because obviously it's the woman's. I mean, whose else is it going to be? A man doesn't have that. We are not designed to be promiscuous. We're not designed to want promiscuity. If a woman is promiscuous, she knows who the kid's going to be. If a man runs around and doesn't have a loyal, settled relationship, he doesn't know whose kid it is. So genetically, from our evolutionary psychology, and you will see this in every male-dominated society in the world, there is marriage. And men usually get married young. And by the time you get older, if you're not married, your desire to get married goes away. That's a biological fact as your testosterone goes down.
That's incorrect.
I've never seen a society where men get married young at all. I've never seen a society.
It's totally incorrect. It's totally incorrect because if a woman is promiscuous, as you stated, 9 times out of 10, she doesn't know who the dad is because she's been with 10 different dudes, and any one of those 10 dudes could have gotten her pregnant.
But she knows
that's why they got the Maury show.
She knows who the mom is, and that's the important part. She knows that it's her kid. She doesn't know who the dad is. A mother can be okay with not knowing who the dad is, but a dad can never be okay with not knowing who the dad is.
Okay.
I mean, I can't argue with that. I've seen it, like some women just like they don't really care who the dad is, and
and that's not a winning proposition for a woman to be raising a fatherless son or a fatherless daughter. That's not naturally what anybody wants. It's what people who are unguided are doing because of what culture is telling them. I don't know a single guy that said I want to get married at 15. When we were young, we were like high-fiving each other because we hooked up with, like the prettiest girl in the school from 14 to like 27. Women were told by their parents to get married, but now what the moms are telling their daughters is focus on school, focus on your career, get married at 35 when it's already too late. And they're doing the exact opposite of what they're supposed to be doing, which is why we have so many problems in society as is today.
It might be a cultural difference. It might be a genetic difference. I don't know what it is. But if you look at Western societies, you marry your high school sweetheart. If you go back to the 1950s, that's what they did.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but all right, when you say men when they're young, what age range are you talking about specifically?
I would say most men, by the time that they are high school age, if they're 16, 17, 18 years old, already have a mind to marriage. They might be tempted by their hormones to go in other directions, but they are looking for something serious.
Okay. I guess. I just totally disagree. That's not what we see happening.
If that were true, Dio, we wouldn't see men. You know what? Maybe in the past, I could partially agree with you that maybe in the past, yes, because men were more likely to be devoted to their families and not divorce. That's why you see mostly women are the ones who leave the homes. Mostly women are the ones who initiate divorce, because and majority of women's complaint is, I married too young. I was young and dumb and all this. You never really see men saying that. You never see a man say, oh, I was too young. I was young and dumb. They usually just say, I messed up. Maybe I didn't change or what have you. But
Yeah, and the thing about
Or
that
she was a
too is
complete
that you
psycho.
can't. I mean, to us, we'll just split the blame, right? 50% of it is the men, and 50% of it is the woman. But nowadays, the women are out of control, and they're leaving their relationships because most men are simply not fit. They're not fit to be a husband at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23,
If
24,
a man
25.
doesn't get married when he's 18, 19, 20 years old, he doesn't have a reason to be. Again, there's a great clip from Family Guy.
No, there is some truth to that. 'Cause let me tell you this. There is some truth to that. 'Cause let me tell you this. I got a homeboy I've known since high school. He got married at, I don't know, I think he was like 21, 22 years old. Got divorced the following year because he married her simply because he got her pregnant and he's a father of a now 17-year-old son. So people are getting married for all the wrong reasons. It was a rushed marriage, bottom line. She's the
Exactly.
mother of his now 17-year-old son, so they had to stick it out somehow.
is there a way, Hustler, that you can pull your mic down, like bring it, control it a little bit, because your mic is very
Distorted.
distorted and loud. It's just obnoxiously loud.
Okay, give me a minute.
Okay, thank you. But I think Hustler, Dio, did you hear Hustler? I mean, who didn't hear Hustler? But I mean, I'm saying like seriously, this is what I'm saying,
that
Dio,
better?
because even in our culture, one second, Hustler, even in our
Go ahead.
culture, we get married young too. All of us do, but then you see all the issues that arise from men not being ready to take on the full, you don't go from being a little boy to all of a sudden being a man of the house with children and taking care of everything, bills and everything. It's hard for men because more responsibility is put on men. I'm not saying that they don't want it, Dio, but I think that partly what you're saying is an antiquated view of how men used to think, that men used to be more inclined to get married young because that's what they thought was the natural progression.
Yeah.
But today,
It ain't like that no more, bro. And the thing is, it's a multi-pronged problem. It's a multi-pronged problem because, look, the men don't know how to be husbands. The women don't want to be wives. The men can't take care of the woman, so the woman seeks an older man. The younger man can't find a job to financially stable or keep a family stable. The woman has the education, so she's getting the job. The whole thing is just it's going in.
Look, this is way simpler than we're making it. I put a clip. If you could please play that clip for us. It's a Family Guy clip of Forrest Gump, and explains the situation perfectly that men are seeing right now, because we're going from unripened fruit, and you're saying they're boys, and we're going straight to the rot because they have no reason to ever be ripe fruit.
I don't really want to play Family Guy because the people, the producers, they're very, very strict about the place their content. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying.
I'll break it down. Basically, the situation is this. You're a young man.
Yeah.
You work hard. You build yourself up. And you see this with Sargon of Akkad, same situation. He made a multi-million-dollar empire, multimedia empire, and what ended up happening is the woman, while he was doing this, was going out, having sex with random guys, partying, building up debt, having children whose fathers did not want to stick around and be a father. And the men are saying, look, you don't want me when I'm nobody. You want me to come in after you've used up your youth, when you've used up your fertility, when you've built up a bunch of debt, when you've got a bunch of kids by other guys that I'm now going to have to pay for instead of having my own children. And they're saying, no, I don't want this. So this is not necessarily an issue of what our urges are as animals, but this is about what we want long-term and short-term as cognizant beings. Men who want a relationship, they don't want to wait till they're 35 to start dating a woman who's been used by 150 guys. That's not what anyone wants.
Well, that's what's
Absolutely,
happening.
I agree.
I mean, Dio's right.
And that's probably why they want you. That's probably why they want you to get married young, so you don't waste the best years of your life, getting with different people. That way you'll be fresh goods when it's time for y'all to find tie a knot or something like that.
Well, the
Yeah,
problem with society is men don't want this, but again, women make 83% of the money that a man makes, but they spend 80% of all money in the economy. So 2/3 of money that men make, they don't need for anything but subsidizing women. So if they don't want the women, if the women stayed out and rotted on the vine, they don't have a reason to make money. They don't have a reason to build assets. They don't have a reason to be men. Men need a motivator factor, and that family legacy is it.
The thing is, though, like you do have a reason to build assets. You do have a reason to work. You do have a reason to be a man because you are supposed to be a man, regardless if the women is there or not. The problem is when the man spends all of his time building a career instead of like building a career doesn't automatically make you accepted by women. It's just one part of the equation. You understand?
Wait. There is no man that will really put too much into his career. Like I've declined literally promotions at my job because I'm a single guy. I don't need the extra money. I don't need the extra stress. I don't need all that. I mean, Dio's right. And also looking at government statistics, like from 1960s, 57% of men got married first time between 20 to 24. So, I mean, and I'm already in my mid 30s, so I don't think I ever want to get married because I feel like I'm too late for that. And so, and a lot of men will talk about my grandparents. Right now we're already having kids going to college and stuff, and so getting ready to not go to college, but in high school and having all that thing. So I'm behind the 8 ball, and so I mean and I'm a millennial, so I feel like I don't even know how it's gonna be for Gen Z, but yeah, it's bad out there.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's why it's important for us to have good leaders as men growing up, because it solves a lot of these issues that both the men and the women are facing. If a man has a good role model in his life, he has something to model success after, which naturally will attract, like I said, it's just one part of the equation, but it makes him more able to sustain a stable family, which typically most men are unfit. That's just, most people are unattractive as is, whether it's men or women. So you don't need any more excuses to not be the best man that you can be, regardless of what the women are doing. We got to focus on us.
That's not how
I got one
really
quick question.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly makes a man unfit to be a husband? And I'm asking that because I've been told since I was young, all it takes is common sense to be a husband or for a woman to be a wife. You don't need no school or no teaching the duties to be a spouse or a lover. So, I mean, I have my own thoughts on what makes a woman not fit to be a wife and what makes a man not fit to be a wife. But what do y'all think? What are some things that make a human being, man or woman, unfit to be a spouse?
Chemical dependence, mental health, your ability to maintain a stable job, the relationships you keep, the type of person you are, all of those things determine whether, like, how fit you are as a person. And mostly for a man, it comes down to his confidence, because that dictates pretty much every other facet of success in your life is based upon your confidence. And that's something most men simply don't know. They don't even know what the definition of a means or have a working example to model after. They just try the best they can with every new woman they meet and hope for the best. That's what most men do. That's why most men are not in relationships. That's why most men are dropping out of the dating pool. That's why most men are just saying, to hell with this, I don't know how to do this. I mean, we wouldn't have this big red pill community if there weren't this market of frustrated dudes out here.
That's
right.
I gotta disagree with you, because if you look at it historically, women generally form harems around high quality men. You're looking at a very small percentage of the population that actually would get to reproduce, historically speaking. And this is true in the human species, this is true in other species.
Yeah, but that proves my point. That proves my point. Because
if you have 5%, no, listen. If you have 5% of the men that are breeding, and you have 95% of the men who are not, then you're not going to have people going down in the coal mines and breathing coal dust to feed their families. They're not going to sit there and watch their coworkers choke to death on their own blood to make sure that they pull coal out of the ground so that their families can eat, because they don't have any.
Look, men are going to do the dangerous jobs regardless of whether a woman is there or not.
No, they're not. They're not doing them. They're leaving. That's what I'm saying. I was an electrician. Do you know what I do now? First thing I did after my divorce, I quit my job. Third most dangerous job in America. I used to work on fishing boats too, off the coast of Alaska. I don't do that anymore. You know what I do? I work in a theater. I sweep up popcorn. I took a job where I work a third of the hours for half the pay. That's what men do.
Look at the construction of homes.
Why'd you do that?
Over the last 30 years, as more men have left those fields, we're not building new homes, we're not building any infrastructure. Men have practically given up on, because they have no incentives. They have no women, they have no children. And I'm an example of this man in my mid-30s. I have no incentives to want to be anything high in my career because I make money to pay my rent, food, and clothes, and that's it. And so when my job's like, oh, we want to promote you, I'm like, no, thank you. I'll stay in my position. And if they try to force me the promotion, I move jobs and get the same position for the same pay. I've moved 4 jobs refusing promotions in the last 8 years.
Yeah, but that doesn't disprove my point. That proves my point. Most men are unfit. That you're just making my point for me.
No, they're not unfit for what they're doing. They're unfit to be husbands, but they're never going to be husbands. Again, by the time you get to your 30s, how many men do you think she's been through? How many eggs do you think she has left? How many children by other men do you think she has? How many STDs do you think she's picked up? Men are saying flat out, look, if you don't want me when you're young and you're at your most attractive to other men, you're at peak fertility, peak beauty, peak health, if you want to go out there and party with these degenerate men, the boys of the summer, who are not going to marry you, who are going to keep stables of you, harems of you, and then when they don't want you anymore and you can't get anything else and you come looking for a paycheck, you're not looking for a man, you come looking for a paycheck, you want us to go full Forrest Gump and say, yes, Jenny, I'll raise the AIDS baby and mow the grass for you, Jenny. No, that's not what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, in my stage of my life, I'm like the fallback guy for these girls. So many women in their 30s are like messaging me that I went to high school with, went to community college with. They're like, you know, they find me on Facebook. They're like, how's it going? I see the kids. And so yeah, they're looking for their what I call quote unquote retirement guide. I'm not gonna be it because I don't want like marriage anymore, and I've just given up on that whole idea. And so I'm like, listen, I'll just be fine by myself. And so, I mean,
yeah,
it's a shame,
I get what
but
you're saying.
it's crazy.
They're looking for the fallback guy, looking for a retirement plan, but these hoes done price themselves out of the market. Don't get with those women. You can find a younger woman. There are plenty of great women out there.
Make it rain.
We talk about that. If you start going after your son's wives, they're not going to have a dating pool when they're young.
Bro, there are more than enough young women in the world for you can date a young girl, and so can a young guy if he's got his shit together.
No.
We act like there's some shortage of women in the world.
There is.
No. Here's the thing.
Human population is
more
finite.
women.
Men and women are produced at a 1-to-1 ratio. For every woman that is not worth dating, there is a man who has to do without or take a bad deal. Period. There is a shortage.
No, there isn't, because most of those men are unfit anyways, which is why the guy who's got it going on has all the women. So there's plenty of women.
Those people to not be unfit, and they're not going to be not unfit unless they have a reason to do so.
So what are you saying? So what are you saying? Are you saying that the best thing, what we need to do as a society, is for men to become worse?
That
doesn't make sense.
For men to get married and for women to stop sleeping around on Tinder. Because if we don't, our society is going to collapse. Men are going to quit working, which we see this now. Men are not working.
Well, that's the women's responsibility, not ours.
We can all agree there, but at this point, we can't control what the women do. We can raise our daughters, and we're not going to have daughters unless we learn how to be the best man that we can be. That's all we can do. That's the only solution. That's it.
then we're gonna suffer the collapse, and there's gonna be no. We're gonna go full Zimbabwe, and people are gonna be eating each other.
Bro, we gonna be okay, bro. Okay, this is like negative. It's the end of the world if women don't do what we want them. That's ridiculous.
He does that all the
Because
time.
I see it. I see what's going on. There was a town in South Africa. 700 people in that town.
It's the confirmation.
300 of them. One of them came to the police, said, "I'm tired of eating other people." They hunted down women in the streets, and they would take them away, and they would cannibalize them. 300 out of 700 confessed to eating human flesh. That's the true nature of people. We tear apart 1/5 of all babies with metal hooks and vacuum them out of their mother's womb. That is the nature of humanity. People start getting hungry, you're going to see the beast come out. We are really nice when our bellies are full and the lights are on. But you take away the food, you take away the infrastructure, and people start getting really mad. Look at the New York City power outage. Look how quickly everything started.
But
smashed and stolen.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but the thing is, once again, to avoid us running around and going to the McDonald's or running to the strip mall and eating the cashier, the cute cashier check there, what men have to do is become better men. We're going to be all right. There's a solution. It's not the end of the world just because they take away the food. We'll grow our own food. There is always a solution. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to be okay.
Falling out of the skies. If nobody else is noticing this, you cannot be a good enough man to make up for 95% of the men being crappy men. You cannot do it. You cannot work that much. You are physically incapable of replacing the. That's the whole reason why all the men at the top said, "You know what? I'm going to give up some of my wives."
Hey guys, time to wind it down a little bit.
Thank you. I didn't want to jump in the middle. I hate it because last time I had to cut you guys off, and it's always when we're about to cut off that you guys get into the best arguments, and I'm like,
Wow.
I don't
she was getting bored.
I don't see where
I could tell she was getting bored.
No, don't say that.
Closing statement. Closing statement. Okay. I understand what you're saying as far as this doom and gloom scenario, but part of being the best man you can be is confidence. And in order for a man to be confident, he has to be optimistic about positive expectations in life. Because if you believe you can do something, you can. And that mind frame, if you adopt the doom and gloom, we're going to be eating cashiers at the gas station mentality, that's what you're going to create, because your belief creates your reality. If you believe that you can build a business, if you believe you can get the cute girl, if you believe that you are worth it, and dignified enough and confident enough to believe that in yourself, and optimistic, keyword optimistic, that's what you're going to get. But in order for you to do that, you got to develop yourself. You have to be the best man you can be.
I mean,
we don't need to eat each other, bro.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Confidence is what?
Confidence means nothing. The farmers in Zimbabwe were confident that they could, the Africans in Zimbabwe were confident they could replace the farmers. When they killed them all and replaced the farmers, they didn't know how to grow the food. They were very confident they could do that. But then when push came to shove, they ended up eating each other, and they ended up starving to death, and they ended up having their currency and country collapse. And then they had to beg them to come back. That is not going to save us. We need to fix these things now before we get to that point, or we are going to die.
Jesus, God, Dio. Okay.
I'm not lying.
Okay, Dio. Listen, I'm going to save that for you when you come back, because it's unfair of me to let you argue and I don't have the other ones to rebut you. So I'm going to let you save your place, okay? Just like you saved it last time. You picked up right where you left off last time. I appreciate it. But you got to get it together, Dio.
We all do.
Dio. Okay, bye, Dio. I didn't listen. And then he's going to tell me what I need to do. Now he's going to tell me what I need. Dio, me and you are not the same. I don't think with a pessimist mindset like you do. Well, actually, I do. But I have my limitations, Dio. But thank you, Dio, so much. And don't forget where you are. We'll pick up where we left off. Probably Monday, if you're available Monday.
Yeah, I should be. Y'all have a good night.
Good night. Have a good weekend. Can I say something? Since You know, you guys were saying, oh, Mira, she's gone. She nodded. I'm not nodding. I'm not on the nod. I have my views. And you all, a lot of you already know my views. And I am not going to bore you guys with keep on giving you guys my views every single week. I don't believe in love marriage. So for me, this conversation is kind of, I'm kind of, I don't believe in love marriages. I mean, you can get married for love. It's possible, but I believe that love marriages lead to more disappointment, more divorces, more lack of understanding of your place, understanding of your role, and understanding what marriage is. Marriage is not fun. It's not supposed to be this fun, enjoying pleasure thing that brings you pleasure. It is, it's a commitment, right? It's a commitment, it's a job, it's a duty. This is your work, your marriage, because either you're building a family or you're married to the person so that you guys can care for one another. Women care for men, men care for women, and you have your roles. I don't believe in this love marriages because love marriages, they start off wonderful. They start off with this beautiful fairy tale, and you're wearing the pink goggles and everything is just so beautiful, and it's the summer all year round until it's not. And then the reality sets in that you're with a person that's going to let you down, that's going to disgust you every now and again, that's going to irritate you, that's going to annoy you. This is when the reality sets in. So I just don't really, I like it. I like the idea of this love marriages because it seems really nice, but culturally, we have a different system. And you can love the person you're getting ready to marry, but you shouldn't marry because you're in love. That's what we believe. You don't need to marry just because you're in love. You marry because you can see yourself taking care of that person until the end. You can see yourself providing duty and service to that person until the end. It's not about how much I love you or how much you make me feel so special or the butterflies that I feel when I see you. That can come later. For us, it's better to build on that later. You get married for your duty. You get married for the family. You get married to be useful to a family. So when it comes down to this, I believe it was either Hustler Muscular or Will who said the houses aren't the same quality anymore because men have given up and they don't, and that's not the reason why either. Houses aren't made strong anymore for other reasons. It's not because men have given up. The quality of things has diminished, not because men have given up, but because we have retired all of our factories over to countries that aren't worthy of servicing the American public, like China. These people make SHIT products for us because they're what they're going to do, give us the best of them? They're not going to give us the best. They're going to give us garbage and we accept it. That's the reason why the quality has diminished. It's not because men have given up. And as for marrying young or old or what have you, marriage, I tell you guys, I see a lot of people fail because they married young, and a lot of times they fail because they just weren't ready. They weren't ready to go from being children and being kind of carefree to all of a sudden being boom, marriage, serious life. A lot of them, it's a shock, especially to the modern generations, because modern generations, our childhood lasts until about 30. Modern day humans, we are children essentially until 30 now. Before, you were an adult when you were 16. They saw you as a man. So for you, being 22 and married was kind of like being 35 to us and married. We are different now. We live longer now. So we don't have a rush to get married and pop out children. We don't have this rush anymore. And I know a lot of the red pill community always talks about women being 35 and, oh, her eggs are gone, which is, listen, I know it's better to have children before that age. It's always better. But You can't say that anymore, because right now, the way humans are living, things are changing. Women are having their babies later with no problems. Not like it used to be. Back then, it used to be you need to have your baby at 15, 16, hurry up. Now it's not like that. We live longer. Our medical circumstances are a lot better. People aren't in a rush anymore. And I've come to understand that, unfortunately. I don't like it, but I have to understand this is part of progression with humans. We're living so much longer now. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to tell you guys was, we speak all the time about being married young. You got to get married young. You got to do this young. I partly agree with it, but then I partially disagree with it. The reason I'm kind of half is because, like I said, the timelines of our lives now, because we live a lot longer. And before, it was like you need to get things done quickly and fast and what have you. Now I see this world, we still have that antiquated idea of like, you got to do this fast and you got to do this fast, but not taking into account the world that we live in today. Most women aren't being trained to be wives. Most women are growing up taught that anything he can do, you can do better. You can do anything better than him. And unfortunately, a lot of these women are coming out at 18 of their parents' homes with this mentality. And when Dio talks about the end of the world, I believe the mentality more than anything, not really the marriage age, but the mentality is what's ruining us and what's going to bring us down as a whole. The mentality is stronger than the biology at this point. Mentally, women are. Anyway, another thing is that when you were talking about men, the boys, the guy, I'm not going to call you guys the boys, the men were on the panel speaking about men not being ready. I think it was Detox who said men aren't ready, and most men aren't ready. We were asking ourselves, what does a man need to be ready to be a husband, right? What does a man need? What are the things that you must have to be a husband? And I don't know what those things are, but one thing I do know is that a man, when he is stepping into that role of a husband, like all I know is my husband. That's all I can say is my husband, for example. He stepped into that role as a husband. My husband changed. We got married. He changed. He had to change. It wasn't like he was ready and then he did this and he prepared this way. He had to change. It was something, an instinct within him. We got married and he said, I need to take care of this. I need to take care of this woman. She is mine. And me as his woman, I just encourage him. I think this is a team effort. And I hate to say team effort because we're not like partners or anything, but it's a team effort. Me pushing my husband to be a husband, him keeping me in my place as a woman. This is what we do. I mean, this is a back and forth. It's a dance that we do every day. I don't know what a man would need. I don't know if there's a list of things that a man needs. Do you have to have a house before you get married? You don't. Do you have to have money before you get married? You don't. Do you have to do it? There is no list, guys. I don't know what to say. And maybe somebody will disagree with me and we can bring it up on the next live. I don't think that there is a list that a man must have. I believe it's just something within you. When you marry the right woman, if you marry a proper wife, she's going to push you. She's going to make you into that. And unfortunately, I know men don't like to hear that. She's going to make me into this in her own way. In a feminine way, she does make you that. She does guide you. What is the word? Help me with the word, guys. It is like support, but it is like, I don't know the word because I can't figure it out, but it goes something like support, you could say. There was on Lapeef, they said that too. They even said having the right woman next to you can make and break a man. Having the wrong woman can break a man, unfortunately. Having the right one, however, can shoot him past everyone else. And, a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people think like, a man can be whatever he wants without the woman. The woman is not that necessary, but the woman that you have in your life is going to be a huge influence on you. The woman is going to control your diet, most likely. She's going to control how much nutrients you get if she's cooking for you, cleaning for you, your environment. If you live in a crappy environment because you have a crappy, lazy wife, it's going to affect you. If you have a wife who's not lazy, who cares for you, who makes sure that you have everything you need and all the healing when you go home, you go outside in the morning a different person. No matter how much men want to say that doesn't help them or it doesn't make or break them, it does. Everybody knows the environment that you're around is going to affect you. Anyway, so that's what I was thinking the whole time that the men were having this conversation, guys. Now, you guys see me as being bored. I'm not bored at all. This is what I love. I love to hear this. This is what I live for. I live for these conversations. So those are my thoughts. And I don't believe in love marriage. So, I know Westerners, you guys are like, if you love him, get married. You can love many things. It doesn't mean that you need to marry it. Just because you love something and it loves you does not mean that that is your wife. It does not mean that that is your husband. Just because you love one another does not mean that you guys are husband and wife. Doesn't mean that you're right. It doesn't mean anything. It just means you have love for that person. That's fine. But searching for that one, your husband, your wife, it's not just about this, oh, I'm in love. What does that even mean? Maybe I'm wrong, though. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, because when I say that, people are like, oh, poor Amira, she doesn't know what it means to be in love. Do you know what it means to be in love? What's the difference between loving someone and being in love? Is it the infatuation? Is it that I can't stop thinking about that person? Is it the butterflies in your stomach? I would not base a marriage on love. I just wouldn't. Wait, what? He says, oh, good influence. Oh, I see what you're saying, Ethan. Thank you. Thank you. That's part of the word. 11 says, love is a desire. Love is an action. It should be an action, not a desire. A desire would be infatuation. You can be infatuated, and that could be a desire, but love should be an action, a verb. Not a verb. Is that a verb? A thing that you do, right? An action, a verb. A verb is a person, place. No, that's a noun. Gosh, you understand what I'm saying. It should be an action. It's something that you do. You love someone. It's not just a feeling. Oh, I feel. I think that's the reason why American culture is the way it is right now, because everybody lives based on their stupid feelings. I feel like, have you guys talked to American people when they're having a debate? They always go, I just feel like, I feel like, yeah, you're right. I feel that you're right. I feel that. And anyway, so I'm not here to talk you guys' heads off. Okay, I'll let you. Dio says, yes, verbs are actions. Thank you, Dio. That's what I was. See, I know I'm smarter than I think I am, but yeah, you guys have to remember, I have many languages going on in my head when I'm speaking, so please forgive me if my words aren't always. D says, I have loved but not been in love. What does that mean? Americans, what does it mean to be in love? Because from everything that you guys are going to say is going to be the exact definition of infatuation. I bet. Anything that you guys say is in love is just infatuating. Thank you, Bruce. Love is not a feeling. It should not be a feeling. Whatever you're feeling is infatuation, lust, or what will be another word for it? You guys understand. Anything that's a feeling is not love. That is something that we call love because it feels good. Oh, it feels good to be around that person. I love you. Didn't even know what that means. I was not in love when I got married. I wasn't. There was no like, I'm so in love when I got married. I knew that I was there to be, this is my job. This is my position. This is my duty. When we married, that's all I could think of. I didn't think about how in love I was, or how our love was just going to grow until the end of time and we're just going to run away into the sunset. We don't have those stupid ideas or that stupid fantasy in our culture. You get married. Do you know how to make what this man wants to eat? Can you bake bread? Can you garden? Are you going to take care of his diet? Are you going to make sure that he's healthy? How are you going to take care of the kids? Can you clean a home? Can you decorate? Can you maintain a home? Can you maintain him? What are you going to do to support this man? What if you need to work for him? What if you need to do this? That's all I could think about. What if sickness comes? What if anything comes? We have to be ready. And I didn't sit there and think about how in love I was, because I wasn't in love. Ugh. Anyway, right, 11. 11 says it's called being turned on. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to agree with 11. Anything that people are saying in love means. Anya says there's love for objects, love of parent and child, and romantic love. I forget the different words for them. I know what you're talking about. I've heard them too. Yeah, I've heard them too. So you said there's love for objects, love of parent and child, and romantic love. I think what we could do is take out the romantic love part, because romantic love, would that be, that would be sexual, wouldn't it? Is that what you mean? Because parent and child love is not sexual. So you would say romantic love is like the extra. I still don't see that as a different form of love. I break it down like this. You have love for objects, which is still stupid, but still nonetheless, you have a love for an object, and then you have love of people. Now, how you express said love for your people is different based on their relation to you. If you have a child, you express your love for your child differently. You have a husband or a wife, you express your love for your husband or your wife differently. I still don't see it as a separate section or a separate form of love. Does that make sense? It's just different actions. That's it. And as for making the goat cheese, if that's what you're talking about as romantic love, I don't know if it's that, or is it like giving flowers to a person, or is it, that's where I don't understand. And I think that's a problem because of my culture, because we don't get taught this type of love thing. So I think this is the reason why it's so difficult for me to understand what you're speaking about when you say romantic love or being in love. Does that make sense? Maybe one day we should just talk about that one day. If you guys are interested, maybe we can talk about that, and I'll just open the panel to people to come on and try to explain what does that mean. Dio says, but sex isn't the love, it's just the lust. Sex doesn't have to be lust, right? I would say. Wouldn't you call, I mean, this is kind of a vulgar topic, but I'll graze by it this way by saying sex is a part of bonding. It's a bonding act that a man and woman do. It could also be seen as service. Like for women, service your men, because men have needs. So I don't know if it would be considered lust. I would say lust is wanting something that you're not supposed to have. Would that be lust? That's the way I understand the word, right? But I see, sex as bonding between a man and a woman. What do you mean? You said you can't turn it off? One up. I don't know what you mean. I don't know if you're talking about being in love. Is that what you mean? You can't turn it off? Neil says the responsibilities of a husband/father is a short list. Preside, provide, and do manly things. To be fit to be a husband is to be prepared and committed to do said things. You could say that. And that's why I say I don't believe that a man has to have a certain amount of money and that makes him ready to be a husband, or he has to have a home and that makes him ready to be a husband. You can get married. You can marry your wife on the side of the road, but she made a commitment to you. She says that she's going to commit herself to you. She's going to turn herself into you as a woman should to her husband, submit. You don't need a house. You don't need cars. You don't need Bentleys or whatever on the side of the road. There you go. That's your woman. That's your wife. I think the idea of marriage today, do you guys see how people devalue marriage so much in Western culture today? They say marriage is just a piece of paper. Why do you need to get married so that she can take half my stuff later? This is part of the culture. This is part of the family courts, what they have done to the culture. Now, no one can think about marriage without thinking about divorce. And that's already going into a marriage with the worst in mind. And it's sad. It's sad. It's turned into a joke, a game, and not even just a game, but a deadly game where men are losing their lives because of this. I want to let you guys go now. I'm going to let you guys go now because I don't want to just keep talking and talking and talking. You said would be unable to function. We are dependent on one another as a species. Well, of course, we're made for one another. Everybody should know that. That's why I don't understand this gender war and all this. This is so stupid. Women, you're going to lose no matter what. No matter what you do in a gender war, you're going to lose because men are superior in most every way to us. Merry Christmas. Men are superior. They are the superior human. We may be the most attractive, but they are superior to us. I don't know why women even think that they have a chance. Oh, you're going to have a gender war. What do you mean, a gender crushing? That's what it's going to be. Men, even with men at 40% of their power, they would still win against women. At 40%. Look at Leah Thomas. 40%. Even men taking chick hormones are still better and superior, more superior than women. Even taking our chick hormones that weakens them, they're still better than, come on, men are superior. If women just took a minute to understand that, I think we would not have so many of these stupid ladies out there talking about gender war. There is no war. No, there's called a beatdown. That's it. It's a gender beatdown. Because even logically, men are superior. I'll let you guys go, but before I go, I want to tell you guys this. If you guys don't know, and based on IQ, and I know IQ does not tell you guys everything about humans, but based on IQ, men tend to range in their IQs to be either extremely stupid to extremely genius. That's how men are. The majority are on one of these sides. With women, our IQs tend to be always in the middle. Most women are in the middle when it comes to IQ. It's very rare to get a woman that's extremely genius and very rare to get a woman that's extremely stupid. Most women are in the middle IQ-wise, and men tend to be on the sides. Either they're extremely stupid or extremely genius. So that's why I think a lot of women think that they're better than men, or they're possible that they can have a war with men because they see the extremely stupid one. They're like, oh, we're smarter than you. We're better. Yeah, cartoons are not real life. The man who's fat and ugly and stupid and his wife is beautiful and attractive and smart, that is not real life. So anyway. All right then. So guys, thank you. Monthly. What? All right. Mr. Renegade said, facts 11B, we love on them and they just want them to be women and they want to bite our heads off. Yeah. Women are vicious, evil. And I know. I'm a woman too. I get it. I know. Why? Love should be like a parent's love, disciplinary, law enforcing, but with passionate care that would eliminate the love is a choice. It should be a devout undertaking. I'm gonna say this, but you did okay. I'm coming, Samuel. In my marriage, my husband is like that, like kind of that way. Like it's like a parent's love, but of course not in a weird incest kind of way. Of course, we're not like that, but it's like my husband, especially when I was younger, like when we first got married, disciplining me. I would have to be disciplined by my husband, guided. He loved me, protected me like that, still does, protects me. He is the one who keeps me going this way, right? He is the one who tells me what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, what's right and what's not right, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. He's the one, because that's my leader. He's the one I chose to lead me. And as such, I am subservient to him. I am his property. He is my owner. That's how I feel. And this is not some weird kinky fetish thing. This is real life. It's not something that's cute or something. This is just the way it is. It's not meant to be cute or ugly. It is what it is. That's my husband. He's my leader. I am subservient to him because this is a situation that I agreed to. So that's why I can't really get into this conversation about, oh, if you marry young or if you marry old or what have you. I don't even think it's an age thing. I think it's about here. I don't really think it's an age thing. Good night, everyone. Thank you guys for joining me. It has been a heck of a conversation with you guys. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't know that we were going to divert from politics to this, but I'm glad we did. And I see it seems that you all prefer this kind of talk. You guys prefer to speak about the culture. You guys prefer to speak about your life that's going on right now outside in front of you rather than always speaking about politics. I get it, but we're going to have to get back into politics for sure, because politics are going to be all this year. This year is an election year. So good night, everyone. And what? He said he wasn't wrong. Was he? Who are you talking about? Mr. Renegade. He says, I said Amir should make a second channel called Wife School. I'm dead serious. She would teach women a lot. Most women don't want to hear from me. They don't want to hear from me, Mr. Renegade. Because, yeah, they'll hear from me and the parts where I'm like, oh, and your husband treats you well and he guides you and everything. But they don't want to hear the part where I say, if you step out of line, your husband should be able to discipline you. Is he not the leader of the home? Did you not say that he's the leader? Yeah, I did. Well, then part of the leader, being a leader, is leading the home. And you're going to have to accept that leadership. You're going to have to accept it. And if you disobey or you don't and you act crazy because you're a woman and you're grown and you can't nobody tell you what to do, discipline comes with that. So the moment I start speaking like that, all my subscribers are going to go. They're going to go, oh, I can't subscribe to this. Oh, no. She needs to take that Middle Eastern Arab Muslim stuff over there. When in fact, this has nothing to do with religion. Because even in the Bible, it says the same thing. Woman, be silent in the church. Woman, cover your head, because if you don't in the church, it's as if you had a shaved head. Woman, submit to your husband. It says it everywhere. So it has nothing to do with religion. It is what it is. And I believe that, most women don't want to hear that. Most women, Good night, guys. I've said good night 3 times. This is the last time. And with that, I yield my time. I'll talk to you soon. I'll put a song on because why not? All right.